Well, the season has come to an end, Steeler Nation. I am Jay York Football. Thank you again for riding with us. And speaking of riding, we want to give a shout out to our partners over at City Wheelhouse, where the bar is set. Tires for all cars and trucks can now be purchased online at steelcitywheelhouse.com, and financing is available. So make sure you guys go down there and check John and John out, doing great things for your automobile. So make sure you go down there and tell them we sent you. And then you see it. I brought out the Pirates hat because guess what, Steeler Nation? It's officially baseball season. We couldn't get it done in Buffalo. And to be honest with you, I didn't really have high expectations. But as I was talking with our producers off air, it's, they bring you in, the Steelers. They bring you in. And then it's like, they let you down. I would have rather just missed the playoffs and got ready for the draft, but here we are, another gut-wrenching loss. With that being said, I think I'm going to have to soak my troubles away in some Stoney's beer, which is actually brewed in Latrobe. Why settle for a run-of-the-mill mass-produced beer when you can have the best? Upgrade your beer game and raise your standards and taste the difference that Stoney's beer can delivers. And it's going to need to deliver because the Steelers were unable to do that in Buffalo. Like I said, I'm riding solo today. My partner, Mike, taking care of some family business. Wish him the best. And let's get to it because we have a lot to talk about on the one and only, the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. Run it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Aaron Smith shields. Flacco. Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast.
Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, as we all know, all good things come to an end. It was exciting, those 4 games with Mason Rudolph. I think that he really proved that, he was patient and just stuck it out. You kind of really have to respect the guy, not only his play on the field, but just his character and is a person. And I think that leads to like the biggest debate going into the offseason right now is who's going to be QB1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers week 1. And I know that, the whole thing with Kenny Pickett still being number 1 on the depth chart, I understand that. He was the starting quarterback, and obviously you have to ride the hot hand. Mason Rudolph is a free agent. Is he going to come back to the Steelers? Did he, gather up enough attention with this 4-game resume? I definitely think so. And if I was the Rooneys or, anyone in charge, Omar Khan, them guys over there, I would definitely sign him, for a couple years. And I think that, obviously Mitch Trubisky, it just didn't work out. Good veteran guy, but unfortunately the play on the field just wasn't there. And you can really say the same for Kenny. I want nothing more than Kenny Pickett to succeed, but just seeing that, just the performance on the field, only 13 touchdowns. Like I get the win-loss record, but a lot of that, has to do with the Steelers defense on the other side of the ball. So with that being said, it could either go 2 ways. We could get a quarterback in this year's draft, or it could be, hey, we're going to go get, everyone always throws this name out there as a veteran that the Steelers might sign, and that's Kirk Cousins. I don't really see that happening, but like I said, I didn't think that it would be Mason Rudolph starting in a playoff game in 2024, and we witnessed that. So, I'm putting all things on the table right now. And as far as everything, with the head coach, and I'll say this because, I've been critical of Mike Tomlin, and I just want to kind of just like follow up on this. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Mike Tomlin is a great leader. Mike Tomlin, if he did leave the Steelers, he would have a job the next day in the NFL. I think we all know that. But I think it goes, a good analogy for me would be the time is up. All good things come to an end. We can say it. It's like beating a dead horse. It's cliche, but it's the truth. And it's the same thing that with Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, like he went to the Chiefs, and it's like, okay, he's having success. Like he's a great coach. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Any of those guys in that locker room will tell you that he's a great leader. No one's questioning that. But with the playoff success and the standard is the standard, what really is the standard at this point? I have it on my shirt right here that Steel City champions. The Pirates might be the best team in professional sports in Pittsburgh this year, and that's crazy to think about. I'm happy. You see, I got my hat on. It's officially baseball season, but we're still covering Steelers 24/7, 365 days a year here on the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. So make sure you guys subscribe. And I want to tell you about another great partnership that we have over at DraftKings Sportsbook. And we've been working with them all season. So make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. Yes, the Steelers lost, but guess what? There's so much other ways to make money. Even if it's not your favorite team, maybe you have a favorite player. It's bringing you an offer that will help you make the playoffs electrifying. New customers can bet just $5 and get up to $200 instantly in bonus bets. But make sure you use our code SIXSPORTS. That's SIXSPORTS. You see it right there, right next to the DraftKings. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER and make sure that you get them parlays in this weekend, because the Steelers season may be done. It's unfortunate. It's sad. Wipe your tears and get ready for the playoffs and just enjoy football, because everyone loves the NFL. And with DraftKings and the NFL, make yourself some money. So, yeah. Another thing is, and this is, I'm just really based off of this whole episode, just going off of my tweet on what I personally think, the Steelers should improve on. Let's go with offensive coordinator. Obviously, Matt Canada got fired, and I think that the right choice for Steelers offensive coordinator is bringing in someone outside of the organization to give a fresh start, to the offense. That we have talent on offense. We all know that. I just think that it's more important that you have a fresh start, a fresh face in there. Someone, not an assistant coach, not, this and that. I want someone in there to bring, a new element to the Steelers offense. You have George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. You have one of the best, 1-2 punches in Najee and Jaylen Warren in the running game. This offense really has potential if they can figure out the scheme and the play calling, I think. And also, obviously, having a quarterback that, and I truly personally believe that Mason Rudolph can be that. I think you have an open competition. I think, me personally, you kind of weigh your options with the draft this year. And I know I keep, bouncing around a little bit, but it's just me. Like I said, my co-partner, Michael, is off. But just really touching on everything personally, there needs to be big changes this year. I think that, Omar Khan, Andy Weidel, Mike Tomlin, the Rooneys, anyone involved in the back end just really need to sit down and just put everything out on the table, because I know that, we're the city of champions. The standard is the standard, and we could get back there. We will get back there, but it's going to take a lot of people to really, push this forward in the right direction. And I think that getting the right people in there is definitely possible, but you're going to have to make some tough decisions this offseason and really get ready, for what's to come. I mean, I don't think there's ever been this many questions for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've only had 3 coaches or whatever, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and then you have Mike Tomlin. We're not ones that just, kind of hire and fire people. You look at some of these other franchises and they had 23 coaches, in however amount of time. And, the Steelers really don't work like that. They're really, kind of more laid back approach and trust the process. But I think that the fan base and, a lot of people in the organization, I'm sure, are not happy, with this playoff drought, because, man, it makes you really appreciate the good times when we were in the Super Bowl. So it's crazy to think about, but I really do think that, the Steelers, you got to take the positives away from this season. And some of the positives that I'll say personally that I noticed was the running game. Obviously, Jaylen Warren, unrestricted free agent. We did his show all year here on the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy, just a wonderful young man. And Najee Harris kind of, shut up the haters, being that first round draft pick in another 1,000-yard season. That 1-2 punch, man, you got to keep it going. George Pickens, great talent. Sports Center top 10 every time he makes a catch. But I don't really know how to pinpoint it or say it, but I guess his anger and, he just needs to mature a little bit. And I hope that he has good people in his corner that can bring out the best in him, because he is a very talented individual. And hopefully that, the Steelers can, get it together with him, because I really think that he can be a top 5, NFL receiver. The talent's there. And, that starts with the quarterback too, as well. You have Cam Hayward on the other side of the ball, TJ Watt. These are your leaders. These are your veterans, but you just need an offensive guy to really step in there. I think 2 offensive players, touch a little bit on the punting situation. I'm sure Presley Harvin's a great individual, but unfortunately in the NFL, you cannot punt the ball 20, 30 yards, 6 times a game. I know he's a great holder, I'm told, but unfortunately, I know we brought Brad Wing on, for a little bit this season, and just really got to get that figured out. Maybe draft another punter. Not really sure there, but I think that it's time to move on from him. I think Mason Cole as well. He showed spurts, but just a lot of botched snaps this season and just inconsistency. Really just, you can never have too many good offensive linemen, and the center position is such an important position in football. And I truly believe that, you can never stop focusing on, on an offensive line. It's what wins you games in the NFL, really in any level of football, but especially the NFL. So, we could sit here. I don't think our expectations, for the Bills games, I think people kind of accepted it for what it is. But, the Steelers did hang around. They made it interesting, but I feel that they really shot themselves in the foot that game. Everyone can say about, Mason Rudolph's, interception, something that people need to realize. Even the best of the best are going to throw interceptions. You see it all the time. It's part of the game. They're going to fumble, but you have to realize that, overall, I feel that Mason Rudolph as a QB did enough for the Steelers to win that game. The Steelers secondary, something that I feel that they need to address this offseason, really did not show up whatsoever. And, we're talking the highest paid defense in the NFL. I know, the Steelers are 1-11 or whatever it is without TJ Watt. I know that was, going to hurt, but some of these guys, they didn't step up when they needed to, and kind of just let the game get out of hand when it was 21-0. And it's really hard. It's like a dagger in the heart. You're constantly playing from behind and trying not to turn over the ball and, make mistakes. George Pickens fumbled. He should be more worried about the fumble than the refs. And, this come with time. He's a young player, and I really think that, he does have the talent. But, man, this offseason is going to be – I always tell, our guys over at the Sick Podcast, and it's just crazy because we really don't have an offseason, but it's like – the offseason is like there's so much more storyline. And this year going into the Pittsburgh Steelers offseason, this is going to be like a New York Times bestseller right here, baby, because there is a lot that's going to go down. I can't see the Steelers not pulling the trigger on some big moves. And I'm talking new, even with Terrell Austin, I think that, at defensive side, I think you kind of need a fresh face there. I think that there needs to be a lot of new, fresh faces to really just come in and bring some new energy and bring out the best in these players. And I really do, I'm not like one of those gloomy people, even if Mike Tomlin does come back, which I think he is. But I really, truly believe that, the Steelers can, get back in the playoffs, get a playoff win, and make a deep run, and eventually a Super Bowl. People on the back end, I think, is the biggest thing right now, and I think that they need to make the big decisions, the tough decisions. So we'll see. Like I said, it's only day one after the Pittsburgh Steelers ended their season, so just kind of going to sit back and take away the positives. the few that there were. But, I will say this about the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's our job to, break it down, what's going on the field, but this is a great group of men. And I am really excited for these young guys and, all these guys that we're going to get in the draft. Like, it's the most wonderful time of the year. We don't sleep over at the Sick Podcast, Steeler Crazy. So again, we appreciate all our partners, Steel City Wheelhouse, DraftKings, Stoney's. Make sure you check all them out. Great brands, great establishments, just doing great stuff all around in the sports biz, beverage, cars, you name it, we got it. And that's the reason kind of why I wore my Pirates hat, because I tweeted it out earlier today that I feel that the Pittsburgh Pirates Baseball Club could be the best professional sports team in Pittsburgh this year. So hopefully I'm wrong, but won't be mad if the Pirates make it to the playoffs, and hopefully the Steelers can do the same next year. So we'll be rocking and rolling. We're not stopping. Just want to thank everyone. Make sure you give us a like. Obviously, we're on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google Play, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really try to be unbiased here and, just bring on great guests and break down Steelers football. So we really appreciate it. As I said, I'm riding solo today. Shout out to my guy, Mike. I know he'll be back for the next episode, just taking care of business. And the Steelers got to start taking care of business. I know that's for sure. Again, thank you guys. And here we go. It's the offseason. Kick back and enjoy the rest of the NFL playoffs. We'll see you next time.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.